After looking at the film yesterday with coaching staff, really pleased, especially on the defensive side of the ball. We were able to control the line of scrimmage. I thought the front four played exceptionally well, penetrating the line of scrimmage and making things pretty easy for our linebackers to hit their fits. And I thought the secondary did a nice job as well of either fitting in the run game and doing a good job in pass coverage. So defensively, although there was only 44 maybe right around their snaps, and I think there was only 16 or 17 in the first half. It was a great job defensively. Offensively, looking at it, we made some really good plays. Carson threw the ball well. Shep and RJ and Vra made some really good plays, but we missed some things looking back at it offensively. Some of the communication in the run game, communication in protection, but give UND credit. I thought they did a great job of blitzing us and kind of getting us a little bit out of sync in some of those protection areas and run game areas, but we were able to make some things happen after the catch, and that was really important, especially with RJ and Shep making some big plays. But we've got to shore some things up in protection. Carson got hit too many times, and part of it was as much on Carson maybe turning the protection not necessarily the wrong way, but what in his eyes were the wrong way, and then they'd blitz us off the other side. So I thought UND did a great job with their blitzing schemes. Special teams, I was really pleased with Cam. Once again, he's a calm, cool, collected kid that we hope is getting better and better. And, we're going to continue to work with him. We're going to continue to progress and push him forward. We'll continue to work with Ben. I thought Fish snapped extremely well, as which he has to do. A couple of really good punts by Ben. Kickoffs we've got to continue to work on. We missed some spots. And then obviously the turnovers on our punt defense and kick return are real concerning, that we've got to go back to some basics of catching the football a little bit, and we'll try out. CJ's going to be back there a little bit. We'll put Perks still back there. Shep, those kids have caught him for a long time, and they had some lapse in some concentration. We'll clean that up. So big week for us. Improve a lot on special teams this week. Turn the page and start working on South Dakota State. As well as continuing to get a lot of young guys, especially the offensive line young guys, up to snuff and getting those guys more snaps. So we'll open up for questions.
Coach, do you think you'll go as hard this bye week as you did after the Montana game?
I don't think we'll be able to, Dom. I know Chase is going to be out the whole week because of an ankle injury. Dimitri will. We need to sit Jeremy Kelly. He's got a back and hip issue, so we'll sit him a little bit. But I don't think we'll go probably as long, but we probably will go as hard. We may cut it down from 2 hours to 1 hour and 40 minutes or something. We've got to get our work done and continue to prep for South Dakota State, but we won't be able to probably have as many bodies as we did that first week. We hope to get Jack Plankers by the end of the week. That's what we're hearing right now. Is I think his next doctor's appointment is on, I think, Thursday, and so maybe at the end of the week we can get Jack back.
Coach, you touched on Cam, I know, for just a second, but have you been surprised at all with how quickly he seems to have settled into that role?
Yes, really surprised, because I think when he came here, his envision was, if I kick, great. If not, I'll redshirt and have 4 years, and not knowing what Ben would do. But, as we watched him, and as I think he watched the other kickers, he said, I've got a chance to compete, and we pushed him forward pretty quickly after the Montana game. But once again, his demeanor, the way he conducts himself, the way he is around at practice and at games, it's really neat for him to be around Ben, because Ben is not your typical kicker. Ben is really taught him the ropes, so to speak, and Fish as well. Those three work an awful lot together. So I've been really pleased with Cam.
Coach, was this like a coming out party for your defensive line, and how important is it for them to play like that?
Well, I think it was. It was obviously our best performance with that group through the 3 games. It doesn't get any easier, because South Dakota State, I think, has a dynamite offensive line. But moving forward, we have to be able to control the line of scrimmage with our front guys, and even with the rotating guys, the Steidles, the Stanley Jones, and Grant Morgan, and those guys, they all have to be contributors, because we also know we're not going to probably play 44 snaps. We're going to have to be able to play 65 to 75 snaps once you get in the valley, and we've got to have a number of guys stepping up. But it'll be imperative moving forward, especially this next game that we're preparing for with South Dakota State, that we continue to do a good job up front.
Play that Chase has scored on that pass play, has that been the same play?
It's the same play out of 3 different formations. It's the same play, but one time Chase was, I think, lined up at the tight end position. One time it was just a different formation out of our 3-back set. And then this last one was a different formation again out of our 3-back set. But, with us, we hope we can set up that perimeter run to put what we would say the leverage defensive back in more of a run-pass conflict. Is he going to go and try to lever or absorb the block of Chase, or does he have to play it soft and be able to take Chase on the wheel route? And that's what we were able to do in all 3 cases, where the defender overplayed the run and Chase was able to slip behind him, because it's a similar look to what our run play looks like when we run our jet sweep.
Where is Zach Johnson at physically? Will he be ready possibly by South Dakota State, or is that pushing it?
That is yet to be determined. I think he has a doctor's appointment next week, and so it would probably, I think it's middle of next week, which Zach probably could play on a couple days practice, but we won't know much more till the following week, Brian.
Getting back that play, is that new this year?
We ran it last year a few times. Trying to think if we ever connected on it, though. I don't remember us doing. If we did connect on it, but something we worked really hard at this spring and in fall camp, trying to get 3 true tailbacks in the game. And last year we didn't have that ability probably to get the 3 true tailbacks that could take a lot of those reps like we are this year. So I know we've attempted it last year, Jeff, but I don't know if we completed one.
Do you know where you got that play? Is that something Paulsick dreamed up? Or?
I think they did it at Northern Illinois quite a bit.
Coach, between Bruce, Dimitri, and Darius, is that the kind of explosiveness, the future you're kind of recruiting towards, to say we can get these kind of athletes, they can be special on offense?
Yeah, it really is. It's something moving forward we have to have. I mean, we're going to get into situations where people are going to put 9 in the box and blitz the heck out of us in the run game, and we've got to have guys that can make plays in space. And I'll throw RJ into that mix as well, because RJ's a slot guy. But we need that speed. We need that elusiveness on the edge. We need the guys that can play in space and win in space, that put you in a lot of that conflict of, are you going to be in your nickel defense with those guys in the game, or are you going to be in your base defense? And that's where, if you'd watch the Bison for the last 4 years, we were always able to match that person with a Travis Beck type player. And do people match that guy with a linebacker, or do they match him with a Travis player, or do they have to go to their nickel stuff? And if you do have to go to your nickel stuff, then we feel like we've got to be able to run the football. So, no, but to answer your question, those guys are what we're looking for in that slot.
Did you get what you wanted out of this non-conference schedule?
Other than the routine of playing, sitting, playing 2, sitting again, that's a tough routine to get guys any rhythm at all. I think we did, in the fact of we played in an unbelievable environment in Montana against a team that was wanting to throw the football and played a 4-down front. And then we played a Weber State team back at home that was probably a little bit more run-pass 50-50, so to speak, with a lot of different fronts. And then this third week going to the playing against a 3-4 and seeing more of a run-oriented offense. I think we did, as far as just the multitude of defenses and offenses that you'd face.
I know you can't control the bye week. Would you prefer it 7 to 8 weeks in? This one now for conference play stuff?
No, I don't think so, Dom. We did that a couple of years ago when we had the opportunity to play 12 and we elected to play 11 I think it was 2013 with all those veteran kids. We had a bye week really late. But the way I think it all is going to work out now with the Valley having the 8-game conference season, you're going to play your 3 and normally have that open week. And you always would like to have an open week before you get to Valley play. You know, you'd like to have one in the middle of it with 8 games in a row, but I think it's pretty much the same for almost everybody. Once we start Valley play, that's the thing where it gets off kilter is if once you start Valley play, there are a couple teams that have an open week and you don't, and I don't think that is the case anymore.
Chris, are you
Done, I mean, for the most part, unless there's an injury, done pulling red shirts? I mean, is there a situation where you still might pull one if?
Yeah, there's still a situation. You know, we're still working Marquise Bridges a little bit. You know, we're gonna look at Dom Davis as a corner this week, just up with us, similar to what we did with Jalen Allison last year. We never had to play Jalen, but Dom Davis is a guy that we think's got a ton of ability that we're gonna bring up and just kind of have him practice with CJ and Champ, and because we think he's a pretty special talent. But it would take an injury now, and if we had an injury, you know, we feel like you still have essentially 8 games or 7 games in a regular season. It still could be a full season for a young man.
You mentioned after week 1, you thought the whole division was pretty wide open. You think that's the case still, 3 weeks in, that it's anybody's game right
Yeah,
now?
I think so, especially in our league. You know, in the Valley, I think anybody could win the Valley right now. I firmly believe that. You look how Western Illinois played Coastal Carolina, and you, from what I understand, had a chance to beat them. Coach Glenn's got him turned around and doing a really nice job at South Dakota. You look at some of the wins out of conference. I've been really impressed with our league in general, and that's great for us moving forward. That you hope we can continue to get those 4 to 5 teams in, because it's going to be 7-4 this year that everybody's going to hit that number at. That you're saying, you know, can you get in at 7-4? There's going to be a lot of parity now. Will 6-2 win our league this year? There's potential that could happen. I wouldn't be surprised at all if 6-2 doesn't win our league, or at least get a share of it.